everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are or when you're watching this. My name is Mary Provinciatto. I'm co-author of the book Sprint by Sprint, and I'm here today to have this virtual party with you to launch the book in English, the English edition. I wrote the book with Paulo Caroli, but unfortunately he's not here today. So I'll be presenting some slides, just a few slides with some content related to the book, and also to tell you the story about why we wrote the book, when we wrote the book, what the book's about. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. Go through some content, talk a little bit about what's coming next, and also chat a little bit. So I'm hoping that some people have questions as well. You can put them in the chat. To start, I would like to know if whoever is listening to this, watching this right now, if you can tell me where you're from. Also, I know that we have a lot of people from Brazil. The first edition of the book was written in Portuguese, so it's always good to see if those people are attending this one as well, or let us know where you're from, and also if you feel free to send your questions in Portuguese if you want. I can translate them and then just answer them in English. So, okay, let me just share these slides now. So this is the agenda for this virtual party that we're holding for the book for this English edition. And I'll start by telling you what the book is about and why we wrote the book. Then I'm going to go through the 5 stages of team development, also known as the Tuckman's model. After that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the sprint by sprint training course. We already have this training course in Portuguese. We are running this in Brazil, I think, for over 2 years now. But now we are also going to launch the English edition soon, after we have the book. And the second part is going to be, I hope, some chat here. We have some, I hope to have some questions in the chat so that I can also answer questions and talk to you, whoever is watching this. So to start, let me tell you a little bit about the book. You can see here the Brazilian edition, the edition in Portuguese. The one in English is a little bit different. We have a different subtitle, a different cover. We actually had a poll on LinkedIn and people voted for the versions that they liked the most. So it looks a little bit different, but the book is not yet published. I think that by the end of this month, we will have the ebook on Amazon, and probably next month, sometime next month, we will have the printed version as well available on Amazon. And here you can see Paulo Caroli and I. We wrote this book, I believe, in 2017 or 2018. I'm not sure anymore. And we were working together at ThoughtWorks in Brazil, in Porto Alegre. And we were working with as part of a distributed team, right? So we had half of the team in Porto Alegre and the other half in another city in Brazil. And we were working as a product team. We were building this product, and we had a lot of challenges actually during this engagement. And we tell the story of this team in the book, at least since we formed the team, since we established the team, until we actually had the MVP available and also some increments of the product after that. So I think it's around 7.5 months or so, something like that. And in this story, we tell everything that went wrong and how we learned and how we dealt with some of the situations and challenges. And one interesting thing is that when we started writing this book, it wasn't meant to be a book. Um, we were working with this customer at that time, and some of the stakeholders, they were a little bit distant. They were not part of the team or actually able to see everything that the team was doing. And that's okay. We usually know that a lot of stakeholders, a lot of people, they have busy lives, right? So we were looking for the best way to share information with them. And they were really curious to know more about agile, right? They wanted to know more about what it's like to be part of an agile team, part of a product team, and they wanted to know more about how we would do things, um, culture-wise, how we would deal with situations. So we decided to start documenting things, but in a fun way. So I started writing some emails, some reports about what was going on, what was the last learning points that the team had, how we were dealing with things, and we started sharing those emails, those reports with this customer. And at some point, after writing for, I don't know, I think over 2 months at least, we noticed that we actually had a really good material in hand. We noticed that those reports, the emails that we were sharing, they were telling a nice story, and they were showing a real story of a team, right? And we were not hiding or trying to make things look good. We were actually telling exactly what was going on. And we noticed that others could benefit from that as well, could learn the same things that we learned in that process. And there were some pitfalls, some challenges that they were quite common. So a lot of different product teams, they could learn from that experience. And we decided to publish it as an ebook at first, and it was available for a while online. People could download it for free and just read it. And it was just like a simple version. It was pretty much looking like the same report that we were sharing with the stakeholders. We just changed, of course, names and some pictures to because we didn't want to expose anyone. So we had this available online. People were downloading it and reading it. And after a few months, we started getting some feedback from people saying, hey, this is actually quite interesting. I'm learning a lot, and I would like to buy this book and have this book so that I can look at it sometimes when I am facing the situations again. And we were like, okay, maybe it might be a good idea to actually publish this as a book and have like a printed book, right? So we decided to go ahead and turn that ebook into the book. And this is what you can see here on the screen, the book in Portuguese. This was what happened at that point. I think it was April 2020. And since then, I was still living in Brazil when we published the book, but the next month I moved, I relocated to Europe, and a lot of teams that I worked with, even before when I was still in Brazil, I was working already with teams from North America, even Asia, and they started asking me, hey, how can I read your book, right? Is there like an English version of it? So we were like, okay, we actually need to translate the book and publish it in English. So it took us a lot of work, but here it is. We're finally publishing the book in English. So that's the story. That's why we wrote it. And also in the book, once you start reading it, you will see we also have some pages there to set the context. We tell a little bit more about what the team was doing, what kind of product we were building, and we give more information about the roles as well, and more details about the kind of engagement that we had when we wrote the book. Okay, so enough about the book. Um, I want to talk a little bit now about the 5 stages of team development, because I think this is a topic very related to what we have in the book. We of course we don't talk about it in the book. You see that the book is more like telling the story of the team. We have some key concepts at the beginning. We explain a little bit about some of the things that we were using, some methods, some practices. We talk about those. We talk about agile, but we don't talk about these 5 stages of team development. And I realized after writing the book that you can when you're reading it, you can actually see the different stages that the team is going through by what's going on and how they're dealing with things. You can see the different stages. So let's go through the stages and try to understand a little bit more about why they're important and how you, as a facilitator, as a team lead or technical lead, scrum master, agile master, product owner, how you can support the team you're part of in these different stages, right? So just to give you a little bit more of context, this is also known as Tuckman's model. So he was responsible for actually identifying the stages and publishing the work related to this. So in case you want to know more about it, you can go ahead and look for Tuckman's model. So let's go through them. Let's go through the different stages of team development. So the first one, you have this on your screen now. You can see the team effectiveness and the time, right? So with time, the effectiveness of a team it can increase or not. So let's see what can impact that. When the teams start working together, right, we have the forming stage. And I say usually because these stages that they are not linear, and a team can go through them quickly, or just for example, something happens to the team, a new team member joins, or they're changing the kind of work that they're doing, their backlog. So those changes, they can also impact the stage that the team is in, and you can have the team actually go returning to a different stage that they went through already. So for example, if your team is in performing right now, and you change the members of um, the team can start going through conflicts again, and then you'll be in storming, right? Or after, if you're in the norming stage, and you have a new team member joining, you can see some forming happening as well. So I'm going to go through them, and I think it's going to be more clear to everyone. But let's start with the forming stage, right? So here it's usually when people start working together. That's usually what happens, or you have new team members starting as part of the team. And here people are more polite, they're more positive, that they are starting to get to know each other. So they are excited. Some of them can be a little bit anxious, but overall, most of the team members, they're excited that they are starting something new. But there's some questions here, some doubts, because the goals, maybe the roles and responsibilities there, they might not be so clear to everyone, because they're still trying to understand, okay, where do I belong here? How do I work with these people? So things are not entirely clear to them, and that's why, of course, the effectiveness is not so high, right? Because they're trying to get that alignment, they're trying to understand the outcomes that they want to achieve, and so on. So during this stage, if you are in a leadership role, if you are a facilitator, if you are a scrum master, for example, you will be guiding the team, right? You will help the team to develop work agreements. You can use practices such as a social contract, and you will help the team to set the direction. So here you'll be helping the team to have that alignment that they need to perform better, right? And then usually what happens is that the team start once they're more comfortable with each other, right? With a bit more confidence, they start testing the limits. They start testing the limits that were already established. And here, then you will see some conflicts. You'll see people having the conflicts emerging because of different personalities or different styles. So it's very important that you, as a facilitator, you will help the team to go through those conflicts and disagreements in a very positive way, because then if you handle this right, if the team can handle the conflicts and disagreements in a good way, those things can make them stronger. Otherwise, they will probably be spending a lot of time here with a very low effectiveness. And this is not a good place to be, because people are demotivated, they are not seeing progress, they are not achieving much, and people start getting frustrated. So it's all the teams, they have some storming going on once in a while, but you just need to make sure that you're going through this quick, so that the team can start feeling well together, that they're making progress, that they're achieving the target outcomes that they're aiming for, and so on. So, if you're in a leadership role, some of the things that you could be doing here, you could be coaching the team, you could be encouraging them to participate, to engage, to hear different people. That some people that could be more quiet. Um, you can help the team to work within the boundaries, right, the limits that they established. So this would be a good way to support the team to go through the storming. And the next stage that we have here is norming. So By this point, when you reach this stage, the team starts solving the differences that they were having when they were in storming. So they start solving the conflicts and they start appreciating each other's strengths and how people work. They start sharing. They start exchanging constructive feedback or positive, not only positive feedback, and they start taking more accountability for what they're doing. And this is really important because it is that accountability one of the pillars, right? One of the things that is going to help them perform better. And once your team is here, what is it that how can you support them, right? In a leadership role, what are the things that you could be doing to support your team? So here it's more about stepping back and act as a facilitator. You should give the team more room to try things and hear them and give them more space. And then once you are in the perform stage, this is where everybody wants to be, right? This is when everything feels right and the work is flowing and people are happy, they're motivated, the team is more effective, people feel like they belong to the team, they have fun at work. So this is where we want to be. We have this feeling of a team identity and everybody collaborate and the team here is also continuously improving. So I really love when I'm working as part of a team and we are in this phase, in this stage, because it feels good. It feels good. So a lot of the things that you will read in the book, Sprint by Sprint, is about practices that we tried to help us get to this stage quickly or to minimize the amount of time that we were spending in storming and forming and norming, because this is where you want to spend more time. And here, as a facilitator, as a leader, how can you support the team? You can delegate the task, you can delegate responsibility, because here the team is ready to take them, and they are also they have accountability, right? They are committed, they know what they have to do, and they don't not only know it, but they are doing it. So this is a really, really good stage to be in. And then we have the last one, adjourning. And this is when the organization is changing or something is happening. Maybe that product is not going to exist anymore. So people will go different ways, right? They will not stay together as a team anymore, or at least most of them are not going to work together anymore. Then you go through this adjourning stage. And here you usually we see mixed feelings. We see people happy because of the accomplishments and all the nice things that they built, they did, all the achievements. But they also have the feeling of loss because something is ending, right? And they are maybe losing that team that they were proud to be part of. So it's important to, as a leader here, how you can support your team. You can support them by celebrating the achievements, right? Celebrating everything that the team did and what they accomplished so far and up to that point. So these are the different stages, and I wanted to bring them here because when I was reading the book again and we were reviewing it, I just thought about this a lot because I could see some of the moments, some of the emails that we shared about what the team was doing and the challenges that we were facing, and I could see those stages, and I could see how the team was dealing with them, and also helped me as a scrum master, a project manager, to identify how I could deal with the teams in those different stages. So I hope that when you're reading the book, you can also think about the stages and think about different things that you could be doing with your teams as well. So any questions so far? I don't know. You can send the questions in the chat in Portuguese or English or even Spanish, depending on your native language. Feel free to do that. Um, but these were the slides with some content that I wanted to present that are related to the book. And I also have some extra things to share. Actually, I just want to talk a little bit about what's coming next, right? after the book. We have a training course already. Like I said, we have been doing this already in Brazil. So this is the website that we have here is in Portuguese, but we will be launching the sprint by sprint training course in English as well. And this training course, in this the content of the course is a lot about practices and different tools that you could have as a facilitator, as a scrum master, agile master, product owner. um, Even if you are a tech lead, you could also benefit from the content of this training course, because it helps you to see different things that you could do with your team to help them go through, if we go back to the stages again, right? You learn different practices and different things that will help you to go through the stages and deal with them the better way. So, for example, storming, if your team is having a lot of conflicts and disagreements, what are the things that you could do to help the team to go through them in a productive way? Or how do you help the team establish a shared understanding, alignment, right? So, a lot of different practices that we don't teach in the book. We don't talk about how to facilitate. We mention them, we used them with the team that we tell the story, but we don't teach how to facilitate the practices. We are not focusing on the practices itself. So we focus on that in this training, and we teach you how to facilitate the practices, how to use them, when to use them, why to use them, and also we focus on the practices in a way that help you actually combine them and make the connections and adapt some of them, because the practices, they are not the most important thing, right? At the end of the day, what we want to achieve is we want to put the principles and values into practice. So we want to be agile. We want to work as an agile team. So how do we do that with the practices? How do we make sure that we are not forgetting what the practice is about, and actually just getting in autopilot and doing things and just using methods and frameworks without knowing what we're doing, right? So we also take that into account in this training course, and we focus a lot on helping people understand why to do things and when to do things, and help the teams to go through the different stages. So this is what's coming soon, the training course in English. If you are from Brazil, you can already take the next class. I think we have one in April, so feel free to check the website. I can also share them in the comments. But these were the slides that I wanted to share, a little bit about the book, a little bit about some content related to the book and what's coming next, the training course. But I also want to hear some questions. Maybe I don't know if we have many people joining because of the time. I know this is not a great time for everyone, but if we have anybody there who would like to ask a question or make a comment about what I shared here, please feel free to do so, and then we can chat a little bit if we have someone there. Okay, so I think that we don't have any other question for now. So I'm just gonna end here the streaming. Thank you everyone for watching, and even if you have any questions when you're watching the recording, please feel free to add me or Paulo on LinkedIn and send your questions, and let us know what you thought of the book. Thank you.